Over the past few years, WIS editing has become more and more competitive, with new techniques every single day. Like, just look at this. There's no way 90% of WIS editors can make this. Most of them try, but fail to succeed. But today, I've decided to make this complete WIS tutorial, featuring everything from the fundamentals all the way to creating something like this. I split the video into 11 chapters. The apps we're using today are primarily Capcut and alightmotion. To start, let's find where to get the best clips, twixters, and videos for your content. For most anime purposes, I suggest Ring with a Hoodie. Anyway, I searched for the anime character I want for my edit, so that would be Gojo right now. And then I would look through the different clips I could use for different seasons and manga animations. I suggest downloading the no CC version for Google Drive, as the CC usage can vary, but we'll get into that later in the video. After downloading the clips needed for both characters, in my case Gojo and Sukuna, you need to make sure you can use the 4x5 format in Capcut. It's a real problem because there's no preset in Capcut for that format. If you didn't read my community post, this part of the video got removed by YouTube, so I had to re-upload it. So basically, what you're supposed to do is go to alightmotion and put any of your videos in the 4x5 format in alightmotion, and then export it, and then put that same video into Capcut as its own file, and you'll have it like that. Sometimes it's hard to find good clips to go with each other, and here's where I introduce you to matching clips. Matching clips are two clips, like these, that have similar parts to each other with the character and the background. Such clips take time to find, but make your videos a lot more visually pleasing. But to get them together, add any text to your video and keep the text as a trace marker for the center of the screen. When adjusting the two twixters, place one proportionally on top and the other one on the bottom, using the text as an indicator for the center. After that, delete the text and export the video. Now, open a new project with 2 to 3 versus-based videos you made. I suggest you to open a Notes app, doesn't matter if you're on iPhone or Android, and put the points for each character. So that would be strength to Gojo, speed to Gojo, and it definitely eases the process of making the edit. Open music and go to your files and add the song you want to add. For me, that would be Mortals. And then just go to the song, click on it, and go to beats to add your auto beats. By the way, when I'm not talking, it basically means that there's something going on in the video that doesn't really need explaining, but you should still watch it anyways to understand how I do something. Now what I'm doing over here is I'm making my own kind of transition thing. It's not a transition, but it's basically where after the character gets the point, the video zooms back out into the next WIS category. And before we go to the alightmotion part of this video, I just wanted to thank y'all so much for watching this far. I mean, 4 minutes is a long way for this generation. And plus, please subscribe if you can. I mean, I'm not forcing you, but it would really be appreciated. It took me a whole month to do this, so yeah, y'all can go back. If you already have fundamental knowledge of alightmotion, you can skip this part. But for those of you who are complete beginners, I've got you covered. Download alightmotion from the App Store, either iPhone or Android. With that out of the way, open a new project in the 4x5 format in alightmotion and add the Capcut base you just made. If you know the basics of these 3 topics, you can skip this segment. This is completely for beginners. Let's start with keyframes. Keyframes are additions to your edit when you are changing any one part of the video itself. And it could be placement, size, color, texture, there's a lot. When placing 2 keyframes at 2 different points of an edit, you can change any of those values I just said. For example, like I'm doing right now, the placement of any object at x equals this position and y equals this position, and put a different value for the second keyframe, like x is 100 bigger and y stays the same, because I'm not going to hurt your brain with too much movement. Let's just change one thing so you can understand. Which causes the video to move 100 pixels to the right. The 2 keyframes are just points in which you are telling the editing app where you want to change a specific part of the video over that course of time. You can do the same thing with size as well, and when you open this, you can increase or decrease the size, and as I'm showing you. If you want to zoom in, you can go to the first keyframe and scroll it down so it gets smaller, so gradually the video gets bigger. And if you want to zoom out, you can go to the right keyframe and make that one smaller, so at the start it's normal size and then it gets smaller as you go. Graphs in editing apps are simply a position versus time graph. On default is the graph that maintains the same velocity or speed throughout. Knowing some basic physics could definitely help you understand these terms. If you want the video to pop in fast and then ease to place, you can use this graph. As you can see, the position changes fast initially but slows down gradually as displayed in the video itself. Many people don't understand how graphs work and simply neglect them because most editors use presets anyways, and fail to improve on their edits because of the fundamentals. It isn't hard, but it requires a mentor to ease your difficulties. And don't worry, this video has everything. I've gotten many, and I mean so many comments on how to use presets. I always wanted to make a quick tutorial, but I didn't think it was worth it to be a separate video. So here it is. First, let's do the XML method. The XML is basically a Google Drive link that copies the information from your project so you can share it. What you do is, if it's a preset from a YouTube video, you go to the Google Drive or Mega link, and then you download the file. After that, in alightmotion, you go to the very right tab or templates, open it up, and then go to the part that says upload XML file. And I believe it works on both Android and alightmotion Premium for both Apple and iOS. For both Apple and Android. And for Alight links, you can straight up just click the link and it'll take you straight to alightmotion, and it should work for both Android and iOS. But there is a 5 megabyte cap on it for alightmotion Premium, so anything that has more than 5 megabytes, you should know that it doesn't work for free. But to actually use the preset, you have to copy and paste the effect if it shakes. If it's a text, you can just copy and paste the text. A preset for transitions, there's going to be a group with the media in it, and you just change whatever media the preset has and put in your media. After adding that text, add both your verses and character text to the edit. Sync it up also as I do here, and make sure the text itself isn't decentered or malfunctioning. After applying the intro text, the first verses text, and the first character text, simply copy and paste the verses text for the next category. You can mix up your text with different styles, shapes, and colors to distinguish your edit. After adding all your text and repeating the steps I mentioned before, export this video in the highest quality you can. If you want a video on methods to reduce alightmotion lag, also type that in the comments below. I can tell you right now that this is going to be a long segment, probably from 5 to 7 minutes, maybe even longer. So just skim through it if you already have fundamental idea of how it's working, like with shapes. And if you already know basically how most shakes work, how to copy the effects, shake usage, and everything related to that, I'm pretty sure you can skip this segment. But if you need to know about that, then I suggest watching through the whole thing and see how I add shakes. So you understand it better. This part is pretty simple. Firstly, you gotta add your text base to a new 4x5 project and split it up all the parts of the video where like your clips are separated. And when I say clips are separated, I mean you go to individually where the clip breaks from the verses to the person who gets the point. You split the video there and then you reorder it so that you can apply the shake effect there later. That's what I mean by that. If you want to have access to the shakes that I use in this video, you can just go to the video card in the top right corner right now. Or you can just go to my YouTube channel and find the Mega WIS editing pack that I posted a few months ago. It has about 50,000 views, you'll find it. It pretty much has everything you kind of really need for editing, and I might make another one, so put that in the comments as well. What I do is I just copy and paste the effects from there, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. After that, apply shakes that fit the vibe of the edit. That's kind of hard to understand, but that comes in with shake usage. And shake usage is like very important to keep the cleanliness and enjoyability of the video for the edit. For example, don't use an aggressive shake on a sad song and vice versa. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Copy the effect from the shake you want to use and simply paste it into the designated parts of the video. Just an FYI, from now on until the end of this video, I think until the finished product itself and the CC, the transition and the shakes part of this video will be pretty long. So if you want to just skip over to where I'm talking, go to the first part of the chapters I've linked below. And if you want to see through all of it to see exactly what I do and how I do it, you can watch the whole thing. I'd prefer 2x speed if I were you because it's pretty damn long, so that's up to you. And yeah, see you then. On a side note, most of what I'm going to be doing in the shakes part is just going through the shake pack I already have and check which shakes would be best for shake usage and just apply them in the main edit. Alright buddies, I got two things to say. First of all, good job for watching this far. Second of all, you can tell the video is different right now because this part of the video, if you haven't seen in the timeline, is going to be about 10 minutes long. And if I run that through my alightmotion on a phone, it's going to take ages, gigabytes of my memory. And I am not doing that. I'm so sorry, I love y'all, but I can't. I just can't afford it. Third of all, that wasn't even two, but third of all, this is going to be this is the longest segment because the transition I made, well, I just made it from scratch, but it took me a solid 30 minutes at least, and I sped it up a little bit. So if you want to watch the whole process, you can. I'm not going to be talking over the whole way, just an FYI, so don't get bored, but this will definitely help you understand how I make the transitions. Firstly, either make a transition or save a preset. I see all of you preset warriors. Quite honestly, I'm not that good at transitions or nulls, and I just don't even want to try because you don't really need them to make an amazing WIS edit. If you're looking for the basics and fundamentals to make your WIS edit at least 2 times better, a good transition though can spice up your edit while also maintaining its engagement. I suggest one in the intro and transitioning in the middle of the verses as well. I heavily suggest adding a glitch or a lights out effect to smoothen transition from an image to a video, because like you just put an image and then it started moving. That's whack. And one last thing before I go, if the video is a bit too sped up for you, I only sped it up because the video will be way too long for me to export it. You can just slow it down using the playback feature on YouTube to like 0.75 or 0.5 and take your time in understanding what I'm doing. After doing all of that, you have your finished edit, but you just need a color correction to make it look really good. The CC I used in this tutorial is also in the mega editing pack that I referenced before. You can go check it out. What you're seeing on screen happens because of the change in quality of the actual project file. So basically, for example, if I have one project file at 720 FPS and another one at 1080 FPS, no, 1080 pixels and 720 pixels, then the CC with the smaller quality will also be a smaller size. So you have to increase the size like I did and just ungroup it individually. It's kind of hard, but you kind of get used to it when you deal with different file sizes. Though there are many, and I mean freaking many out there, I suggest looking into my premium color corrections on my website, orphic.site. Please check it out. I mean, I don't get paid for these videos. Please, thank you. If you want to see a video with my enhancement CC, just click on the card that popped up right now. Like, that's just an amazing edit right there. Color corrections can heavily influence the vibe of your edit and should be used accordingly. If you're using bright clips, then I recommend not using a bright or enhancement CC, but in the same case, if you're using extremely dark clips, using a dark color correction would make the video straight up black. I don't think you'll get views for that, buddy. So you should balance the color correction with the vibe and clips of your edit, making sure that CC doesn't turn out to be the detriment to the edit. Detriment means the state of being harmed or damaged. You don't want to harm or damage your edit, because your phone is already getting harmed and damaged by alightmotion. The CC that I'm showing in the video right now isn't in the final video because of that exact reason. I'm combining darker clips with a darker CC, which is inevitably going to be a very hard thing to see in the eyes. So I chose a little bit lighter CC. Even though the song gives the vibe of a darker CC, too dark is a real problem. And for the last part, being the finished product, all I do, and you do too if you want, you can go to Wink, which is an AI video or audio, whatever enhancing app, and you can go to quality restoration or the image quality enhancing, and you can, for free, once per day, as per uploading this video. It might change later on. Yeah, you can enhance your video just in case. If you watched all the way to the end, give yourself a damn high five. You've gone through probably more than 10 minutes. Probably more. More like 38. And I'm gonna guess this is like 20 minutes.
Bro could not be more off.
Just straight up guess, because I've yapped so hard. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Psst, I see dead people.